New York City construction worker goes viral for saying exactly what he thinks of Biden after attending Trump visit. This man represents the majority of America. He said something very simple, and
he's wearing his hard hat the right way.
I'm gonna play the video, and so I guess we'll just do a
What's it like seeing so
earmuffs for your kids.
Uh-oh.
Here you go.
What's it like seeing so many Republicans in Manhattan, so many Trump supporters in Manhattan? Does that surprise you?
No, not at all. It's turning now. Trump's turn again.
What's your message to Joe Biden?
Fuck you.
Oh my God.
Okay. So as we're sitting here having this very somber and serious conversation about the uprising of far left extremists, when in New York City, that's the message from a regular old working class guy in construction, maybe we should be a little more optimistic.
Yeah.
Maybe the deep state has failed. The woke, like they tried to wield the woke left and it's turned against them, and now they hate Israel and they're chanting pro-Hamas things. They've lost control.
I mean, they bet on Joe Biden, and that was a mistake, I will say. Again, he's not doing so well, and he's not as likable. I mean, we were talking about this the other night on the show, but a lot of people were like, oh, he's Obama's vice president. They're best friends. He was the sidekick that people were sort of fond of. And then when he had to become the main character, not only did he stumble in a lot of policy ways, obviously people are suffering with the effects of inflation, but genuinely people just are not engaged by him. If you're a New Yorker, you're not going to pick Biden over Trump if you are looking for someone who roots for the working class and for someone who actually has charisma. Like, these are things that Biden does not have, no matter how hard he tries to pretend otherwise.
Well, also, we had the story and we had the narrative that Obama and Biden were best friends, but we all know about the famous Obama quote from behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah.
Never underestimate Joe's ability to F something up. So
I'm just going to play this again real quick.
This is Joe Biden.
Fuck you.
Oh, that's my new
Joe
ringtone.
Wait.
Trump's turn again.
What's your message to Joe Biden?
Fuck you.
dude, the way it's just the head movement. He's like, you.
So, maybe we should be concerned the deep state's lost control of the woke left, but then when you find out that they've lost control of the New York City construction workers, I think maybe we'll be okay.
It's true. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
One can only hope.
I'm an eternal optimist. I mean, I do hope the country gets back on track, and I would like to see Trump back in office. I'd love to see him just go gung-ho and arrest everyone and gulags, and that'd be fantastic.
But the issue is, the deep state may be struggling to maintain control. These charges against Trump are desperate moves. But even if Trump does get in office, they're still there. We say this about Trump supporters. When they say censor them, shut them down, lock them up, it's like, yeah, they're not gone. They're still there. Mm-hmm. If Trump does get elected, I don't imagine a reality where Trump cleanly and easily goes in and starts arresting people. I don't see a situation where Trump wins and he goes, the DOJ will now be investigating the corrupt actions of the New York State prosecutors, the DA, the judges. They're going to say, okay, Trump, it's on. Let me put it this way. Ukraine for a long time was a battle of soft power. And I think soft power is appropriate, and it's how we should handle things. You influence, you offer resources, you support the politicians you like, and Russia and the US were doing that in Ukraine. Russia lost. The soft power battle went towards the US and NATO. So Russia said, fine, war, and invaded, because they're like, that's it. That's where we go when soft power stops working. Yeah, I think right now they're trying soft power against Trump.
Yep.
And it's converting into hard power. What I mean is they media manipulation, financial manipulation, targeting censorship and all these things were soft power. Now that they're moving into crimes that don't exist in statutory law, now that they're trying to jail Trump and strip the office of powers, it is shifting from soft to hard power.
Yeah, exactly.
Threatening Trump with incarceration by physical force is crossing the Rubicon, and it was done by Democrats. Mm-hmm. If Trump wins, Rubicon's already been crossed.
Yeah, I mean, they're absolutely terrified. So when you look at how things began with Donald Trump back in 2015 when he announced his candidacy, from that point onward, I don't think I can point to a single other person in living memory who the media did more to destroy, and none of it worked. Normally, that works for them, right? Normally, the character assassination stuff is pretty effective, but it wasn't here. Mm-hmm. So Once that wasn't effective, they had to move into lawfare. Well, what's going to happen if lawfare isn't effective? That's where things start to get kind of scary.
Well, but we're beyond lawfare. Lawfare was suing Trump, the civil case. They are quite literally saying they will put Trump behind bars. That is a threat of physical violence against him. And there's no statutory law. This has to be repeated over and over again because this is the line. Trump's criminal trial in New York is not based on any standing statutory law. That's it.
Yes.
And the TV can say over and over again, there's no crime. Fox News can say it over and over again, there's no crime. I think people need to understand what that means. See, legislature says, here's a bill, you are not allowed to kick dogs. And then they all vote on it and say, okay, we've passed the bill. You cannot kick dogs. And if you do, here's the penalty range. What Trump has been charged with doesn't exist. They just came out and said, arrest Trump. And Trump was like, I guess I'll show up for it. So we're already at the point where this is no different in my mind than NYPD officers breaking into some random woman's home, putting her in a car, dragging her to an undisclosed location, and putting her in a cage. They're under nothing in the law can they be doing this, and they're all doing it anyway.
I think we're stuck on a path to accelerationism. I really, really do. I think that we are just on that path, and that's where we're going. Now, the difference between Trump and the Democrats is I believe the Democrats, when they say, I want to return to normal, they mean that. They want to get back to business as usual, funding wars, all these things, right? Trump is an accelerant as well. Trump gets in office, what he's doing is more of a controlled burn instead, and that's what concerns them. They're both accelerants. One will get us back to normal. It's a wildfire at this point. They're just throwing everything at the wall. Trump is a controlled burn.
I actually see a path towards stabilization, a possibility. And that would be deep state intelligence agents meeting with Donald Trump and saying, ceasefire. Saying, you will be the next president. You will live comfortably. Let us know what you're willing to accept in terms of concessions. And we stop this conflict now before the country loses control. I think Trump would say yes. Maybe that's why Trump was working with Republicans on supporting Ukraine and Israel war funding.
That's the same thing as putting Biden in office, though. That's the same thing.
Yeah,
I disagree. It's I think what happens with Trump 2016 is they bring him into the skiff and they say, I don't know if they would actually bring him into the skiff, but they bring him in the secure room, say, here's what's going on, and Trump says, okay, yeah, no. And then they said, this is our plan, do it or else, as they often do with presidents, and Trump said no. Mike Johnson said yes. It was Jack Posobiec who tweeted that. I think this time around, I think it might be if the proposition is this country falls into decay, conflict, and crisis between two warring factions, or they capitulate, allow Trump to be president, but ask for concessions, I think that's the better option.
Concessions being people need to be arrested. People need to be brought on charges. People need to be brought in. There need to be indictments.
What if they said, okay, Trump, here's what we're going to do. No more wars. You win the foreign policy. We pull our troops back. Diplomacy, peace agreements, border security, bringing our jobs back, America first, national, and all of the policies you wanted. No strings attached, except no arrests.
I think they would throw some low-level people under the bus before they roll back any of the foreign
Yes.
policy stuff.
Yeah, but I don't think Trump accepts that. I'm saying like they go to Trump, and actually Trump might accept some foreign policy stuff. Apparently, Trump was working with Mike Johnson and other Republicans on the foreign funding bill.
Yeah, he was.
So I would not be surprised to hear that what's actually going on with the far left protesters being, let's say this. I've entertained the possibility that China, through TikTok and and not necessarily just China, but other countries, subverted the woke left, destabilizing the deep state's plan, turning the woke left into anti-Israel, subverting U.S. foreign policy. Donald Trump says he's pro-Israel. What if what actually happened is the deep state went to Trump and they said, we can't win, and this doesn't end well for either of us, so how about we just ceasefire? Biden's out, you're in, you win 2020. The Trump supporters feel vindicated. They feel like they've got their country back. We'll give you a handful of concessions. You'll live comfortably. We'll leave your family alone. There will be some arrests. The wokeness will lose, but we will still be here after you leave.
It's the other half of the population that showed up to his inauguration and set buildings on fire. What do we do with them? Because the people will not stand for Trump being elected again. So if we're talking about two different territories. Is it better that politicians make peace? Because the people will still make war.
But I disagree. And I think I have no idea what's going on behind the scene, but entertaining the possibility, these anti-Israel protests are pissing everybody off. Like I said, there are celebrities that I've seen on social media posting like these protests have become anti-Semitic. And I'm like, that's an interesting message. Did like their agent tell them to post that or something?
Yeah.
Because they do the black square and the rainbow flag.
Yep.
And now they're posting we stand with the Jewish community here, no anti-Semitism, trying to shift that narrative to make it seem like the left is the hate-filled, extremists. So how do you deal with them? First of all, Trump's already winning in the polls. You have to placate, but I wonder if Trump conceding some ground, but ultimately getting to implement his policies, or even if like look at the I think it was 1876 was the election where the alternate dual electors were sent by different states, and I think it was I can't remember what happened. I think the Republican won the popular vote, but then they gave it to the Democrat. Someone, if you can fact check me on this one. Ultimately, the president was chosen by a committee seeking to avoid war. I wonder if that is the better option. I don't see this escalating to conflict being a good thing that anybody wants, and anybody who says they want it has never experienced conflict. No. The people who all have experienced war and conflict are the ones online saying, you don't want it, stop now before it's too late. So if the deep state went to Trump and said, you're going to win, but we're going to compromise, I think the right move is for Trump to say yes. Otherwise, what happens? You don't get eggs anymore. There's no milk. There's no bread. Far leftists are taking over different cities. There's gun battles. We don't want any of that stuff.
I'm proposing they do it if he does win. That is...
You think that even if he wins, they'll just do it anyway? Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.